Good evening, everybody, and we are set down for the second fight night on the round table. We have Bob the Science Guy and we have Brian, and the discussion tonight will be trying to solve out which one of their arguments is better suited to whether or not there is any Earth rotation. So, Brian, Bob, are you both there?
Yes, indeedy, I am. Can you hear me okay?
You're coming through fine. Coming through fine. Brian, are you there? Hello, Brian. Well, he was here a minute ago. Just give him a couple of minutes. Maybe he's had to run off. I'll just check he's still in the call. Okay, well, he's in the call. Brian, are you there? Hello.
Hello.
Hello, you've returned.
Yeah, sorry, I had it on the little box. I had it off mute in that, but in the main Skype page, it was still on mute for some reason. So that's what it was. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. Well, we're here. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
So, you guys, you've both had your questions. You've had... Brian, you've received Bob's questions. Bob's, you've received Brian's questions, yeah?
Yes.
Cool. And have you had time to thoroughly research both?
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Are you there still, Bob? Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob, are you still there? Well, Brian, do you want to fill some air?
Well, I suppose a lot of tonight's debate will be around the gyro compass, I'm sure. That'll be where Bob will probably want it to be. Some of the questions he's asked is connected to the gyro compass. Will I give a brief description of the gyro compass, maybe, for people out there who may not know a whole lot about them? Not that I'm an expert on it.
Okay, I've just received a message. Let's just see what's going on here.
Grant, do you have me?
I do, yes. Wondered where you got to. You disappeared for a minute or two there.
Don't know why.
Okay.
Are you hearing both of us now, Randy? So it's not just one coming through.
Yeah, I can hear you both. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got me now, right, Ranty?
Yep, I've got you now. Right,
I
okay.
don't understand. I didn't do anything different.
Flick a coin. Heads or tails?
I'll leave Bob go first with his question.
Okay, Bob, would you like to fire away with question one?
No, I'm getting a double right now. Hang on.
Oh,
All right, am I back to a single now?
Yes.
Okay. No, I'm going to go ahead and let Brian hit his questions first.
No, we should do one for one. So if you want to go first with your one. And,
Be my guest, young man.
Sorry?
Be my guest.
Okay, Randy, have you got my questions there? Or I'll have to get them out.
Oh, no, you'll have to get them out. You'll have to ask your own questions, I'm afraid.
Oh, I thought you were asking the other night for Brenda and Right the Hand. I thought you were asking the questions for her.
No, again,
Okay.
it was the same thing with them. They thought I was going to ask the questions, and no, I'd rather it be just
Right.
between you
I
two.
know Asses. I get my questions. Yeah, I know Asses.
Yeah, because there might be a way that you need to say it that has more emphasis on a particular word or something like that that I perhaps wouldn't get.
I understand. Okay. Okay, Bob, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. You still have me?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
All right, I'm
Okay.
just pulling up the questions here that we gave to Ranty.
Okay. So let me know when you're ready to fire ahead.
No, go right ahead.
Okay, question 1 to Bob. Is the gyro compass your number one proof of Earth rotation? Question mark. If so, why? And if not, what is your number one proof of Earth rotation and why? Question mark.
All right. Well, this is a common problem that you see in flat Earth. You seem to think that science breaks down to a single yes or no question. So, no, the gyro compass is not my number one or my only proof of the Earth's rotation. My number one and only proof of Earth's rotation is the entire body of science, including earth science, physics, and astronomy, cartography, long-distance navigation, and my ability to use trained eyes to recognize what I'm seeing when I look out at the horizon. So that's my answer.
Well, I wouldn't really be that happy with that answer, Bob, because...
I didn't think you would be.
Well, I asked you a particular question.
I gave you an answer. And I gave you the answer.
But you're kind of leaning on the body of science.
It's a package deal, my friend.
Yeah, but it's not exactly what I asked you, Bob. It's not what I asked you. What I asked you was, what was your number one? What would you put forward as your number one proof about rotation? And you basically said, well, the whole body of science.
Yes.
Well, see, the whole body of science. I mean, to me, that's a different thing than it is to you. Because the body of science to me does not prove rotation.
I gave you 6 examples of rotation of the Earth.
I was speaking there a second. A whole body of science to me, as a flat earther, does not prove Earth rotation. I asked you for particular. I mean, what's the point in having questions if someone's going to basically be evasive about them?
It's not evasive. You just don't know the right question to ask because you have a common problem in the flat Earth, and that is that you seem to think that there is one yes or no proof of anything. There isn't one yes or no proof of everything. Generally, when we talk about rotation of the Earth, we look at the sunrise, we look at pendulums, we look at Coriolis, we look at gyro compasses, we look at weight differentials. All of these things point to exactly the same thing. So unless you can overcome every single one of them, you haven't even made a dent in it. So have at it.
Well, Bob, we have overcome those things. It's like the problem is that you're basically saying to me that you're bringing the whole of flat Earth. You think this and you think that, and the body of science this and the body of science that. That is going away from the question. Me, Brian Lonergan, asked Bob, the science guy, was the gyro compass your number one proof of Earth rotation? And if not, what is your number one proof? And why?
Well, let's see. The gyro compass clearly demonstrates Earth rotation. So since you are apparently well prepared to discuss gyro compasses, we'll go ahead and go with gyro compass just because I want to be a good guy here.
Okay, we'll discuss gyro compasses then. Okay.
Very well.
Okay, so guys, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. So if you want to, if you carry on, that's great. Cheers.
Okay, Randy. So, Bob, in your opinion, what is it about the gyro compass that proves Earth rotation?
That's the way it operates. It requires rotation. So, all right, now we're going to go ahead and go with my question, and that is...
Hang on, we have 5 minutes on each question. We have 5 minutes on each question. So we're going to talk about this for the next 5 minutes.
That'll be great.
Okay. After that, you can bring your question. I did offer you the chance to go first twice.
No, please, be my guest. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Tell me all about gyro compasses.
Right. Gyro compasses, for a start, originally used mercury. And that changed then to mercury as in the horizontal ballistic. And that changed to oil and then other liquids. And then to electromagnetic sensors and torsion bars. And then after that, it went to fiber optic gyros. But the original one had mercury, right? It didn't have pumps. It just had mercury. Now, mercury needs a DC current, okay? And with that, for it to become magnetic. And with that DC current, it does become magnetic, and it moves away from any magnetic field. That's what it does, as the video I shared in my presentation proved. There is a DC current that's given to a gyro compass, because that's the kind of current it needs. It needs a constant current and a steady current for the so that it can time itself correctly with the azimuth motor and the follow-up system, so it all can stay in time, rather than an AC current, which is a bit more erratic. Now, the DC current acting with the mercury ballistic, right? Because of the DC current, the mercury ballistic. But why even use mercury? Why not use it? Why not use a different liquid? Why use mercury when it was liquid metal? It's hazardous. Why use mercury in the first place?
You mean like oil?
Well, they used oil afterwards, but they used oil with pumps. There was no pumps with the mercury valve. Mercury didn't need pumps. Now, none of them were perfect because they had to they were a damper, but they needed to add more afterwards, which they did, as you know. There was Sperry had his own damper, and Brown had his own pendulous damper afterwards, like to stabilize the whole lot before they even went to electromagnetic sensors and that. When they were still using fluids, they needed extra dampers to steady the gyro. But there was no pumps during the mercury time. There was only pumps after the mercury. So why use mercury, and why did mercury work?
Because it's heavy.
But heavy is not to do with it. Why did mercury move around?
By gravity. Because it's heavy and it flows.
Right then, gravity. Right. For gravity to move something, it has to be a force. Gravity is not a force.
So?
Right. It can't. Something that is not a force can't move something.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So, what is a force?
A force is something that can be applied to make an action happen.
Okay. Under the second law of motion, a force is mass times acceleration, correct?
Second law.
Newtonian motion. And under Newtonian motion, a force must act on an object to move it, correct?
Yeah, force.
So what you're doing is saying that gravity is not a force, you're applying Einsteinian warping of space-time. Is that what you're getting at?
It's not a force because Einsteinian gravity. Hang on a second. I must explain myself. Einsteinian gravity superseded Newtonian gravity, and there was 3 astrophysicists who agree with that. So if you're saying that gravity is a force, then you are going against Brian Cox, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and what's his name? I can't remember the third guy's name. The guy who was interviewed there recently.
Okay, guys, I'm going to have to step in there and say you've had your 5 minutes. So it's definitely on to question 1 now from you, Bob, if you can.
Okay, question number 1 for me to Brian is, how does a gyro compass find true north?
1 second now. How does a gyro compass find true north? Okay.
Yes.
A gyro compass doesn't find true north. It is set to true north. Okay. What it does is it's set to 0. It's set to 0, and it has to be brought up in RPMs. Okay. And what happens is that in the older mechanical gyro compasses, when they were turned off, they would take about 4 hours to get settled and get right, because there were several things that had to be done to make them to get into to bring up the RPMs to the right place and to make sure they were set correctly to north. What it did is that once it was set to north and the RPMs worked correctly.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you right there because I asked you specifically about a gyro compass, and what you're describing is a gyroscopic heading indicator. So please concentrate on a gyro compass. Perhaps an easier question. What is angular momentum?
Hang on a second. I was sticking with your first question, Bob, but you asked me a minute ago. I was sticking with that.
Well, you're not answering it. You're talking about it.
Did you or did you not ask me about a gyro compass? Did you ask me about a
Ranty, I told you that he had to prepare for this. I asked him about a gyro compass, not a gyroscopic heading indicator.
Okay, guys.
I want you to tell me how a gyro compass.
I was telling you about a gyro compass.
Could Could I just moderate for a second? So Bob isn't happy with the response you've given so far. So Brian, if you want to take a minute or so to thoroughly go through your response, that would be great. So if you just give him a full minute there, Bob, to go from point A to point Z, that would be great. Cheers.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so your question is, how does a gyro compass find true north? Yes?
Yes.
So
A gyro compass, not a directional indicator, not a directional, or not a gyroscopic.
hang on 1 second. I'm getting my information from somebody who used to use them as a job. That's where my information is coming from. He has made a several video series online. And from reading about it has to be set to north. It doesn't just find north itself. What you're thinking about, Bob, is when it's precessing over in a circle or from east to west under, east to west under. Then what happens is that it's trying to find the center point, which is north at that point. And why it ends up doing that is because it doesn't have proper RPMs. When it has proper RPMs and has proper damping, then it'll hold that heading.
Okay, I'm going to give you 5 minutes, guys, if you want to have a little chat about this.
Okay. No, I didn't just get the information from the manual. I got it from a series of videos by a guy who used to
All right,
use
well, we're going to go with the actual manual here. So, Ranty, would you be kind enough to put the first page from the manual up that I have on my screen right now?
Let me just transition 1 second. Input screen.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to put out that what Brian is discussing is not a mechanical gyro compass. He is discussing a gyroscopic heading indicator, which needs to be set to true north and then maintains true north and needs to be reset periodically because it can precess as much as 4 degrees every 15 minutes. And by the way, there are 4 15-minute segments in an hour, which comes up to 16 degrees. I wonder if that number might be important.
Okay,
so is my screen on?
It is, but just be aware that you're running about 30 seconds behind because we're double streaming here. So whatever
I know, that's why I put it up first and wanted to get it. Do you have the page that I have up there? There's a Roman numeral 2 on it.
I'm sharing your live screen here, Bob.
Okay, so the Mark 14 gyro compass equipment consists of the following groups of unit. Group A, the master compass, by which true north reading is gyroscopically discovered and maintained. Your argument is dismissed, Brian. All right.
Sorry, Bob, would you please go and show that there?
Stop. Here is the actual sensitive element, and this is the gyroscope. It's spherical, and it has a spinning gyroscope in it that precesses.
I'm not saying anything other than your symbol.
Stop. Now, the next one is going to be the phantom element, which is what holds the gyroscope.
You didn't ask me. Hang on 1 second. You didn't specify. You said a gyro compass. You didn't specify talking about the phantom element. If you want to know about the phantom element, I'll tell you about the phantom element.
I'm discussing
the system and the azimuth mode.
Randy, he's interrupting. If you don't mind, would you please put him on mute for a few minutes?
It's a debate, Bob. You're supposed to be debating, not presenting.
All right, debate means I have my 5 minutes. You're not giving them to me, Ranty. I'll need another 30 seconds.
Yeah, just allow him 30 seconds here, and if you've got an objection, I'll allow it afterwards. Okay.
That is the sensitive element. There's the phantom element. Now, what he's talking about here is the mercury ballistic, which is what holds the gyroscope to the horizon. It has nothing to do with the mercury, as he said that they use oil right now. If the mercury, running a current through the mercury, was the key element, you wouldn't need a gyroscope. You just need a ring of mercury and run a current through it, and that find true north. So again, your argument is dismissed. The way a gyro compass finds true north is that it is set and then held to the horizon. And as a result of gyroscopic precession, it will precess until it aligns itself with the axis of rotation of the Earth. And that is how it finds true north. It does it all by itself. It's not a gyroscopic heading indicator, which is used in aircraft. It is self-seeking, as the manual from the instrument itself just indicated. Now, there are other things, of course, in it. This is the spider element. There's a number of them, but this is the very manual that you quoted during your original presentation when you quote-unquote debunked me. It helps to actually read it. So that's it with a gyro compass. A gyro compass works by gyroscopic precession. It is self-seeking to true north.
Okay, Brian.
And it requires rotation to do it.
Of course, yeah.
Can I
yeah.
get my response now, Randy?
Of course you can, yeah. Fire away.
Now, I was asked how it found north. Now, earlier on, I said that it precesses till it finds the center, which is where it's set to, which is north. I did say that's what it does, and they use dampers. And they were using mercury without pumps. Now they use oil, or they did go to using oil and other fluids with pumps. Now, Bob forgot to say the pumps part, right? He talked about the phantom element. I'll give an explanation of the phantom element. The phantom element, okay, is where the gyro compass hangs from. From a piece of wire that has 18 strands. Okay, the phantom element, what it does is has the compass carried on it, so the carriage you actually read, right? And what it does is that as the gyro turns and precesses, okay, the phantom element has to follow that, because that's where it can't just leave it go and leave the wire get twisted, because then you'll have it want to spin the other way. So what it does is it has what's known as an azimuth motor on the phantom element, which keeps the phantom element in time with the precession of the gyro, and any movement on the spinning on the horizontal axis of the gyro, right? And then, right, you have a follow-up system. And that follow-up system is designed to give that follow-up system is connected to the gyro, and it gives only the amount of current needed to the azimuth motor. Right, so the azimuth motor will and send signals to the azimuth motor to make sure the azimuth motor doesn't overdrive the phantom element. So it's keeping the phantom element in perfect alignment with the spin of the gyro, with the precession of the gyro.
With what?
It has a wire connected to the north facing axle,
keeping it aligned,
and a wire connected to the 180 south facing axle at the south.
Okay, that's a lovely word salad, and all you're doing is describing the mechanism by which the gyro is locked onto the horizon.
Yeah,
and
you're talking about precession, right?
Yeah.
So
tell me about
precession. Yes, it finds it with precession. Precession is the
no, it does not. What it does is you are describing the mechanism by which it is kept locked on the horizon and unable to ascend in the east or descend in the west. This is the mechanism to keep it locked onto the horizon, which in turn puts a torque. No,
precession.
You are incorrect.
You said a couple of minutes ago to the whole audience that it points to precession, and then you're saying it doesn't.
You don't know the difference between precession and torque, do you?
I do.
What this does is it places a torque on the gyroscope. All right, you can keep talking over me, and I'll just continue.
No, because you keep on saying what I don't know, and I keep on telling you what I do know.
Well, you're not demonstrating it. What the mercury and all of the phantom elements do is they keep the gyroscope locked on the horizon. The gyroscope itself is attempting to rise up if it's pointing east due to angular momentum, because it wants to stay rigidity in space. It is being forced down. And then by the right-hand rule, the force that's being applied to that angular momentum will drive it to the left or to the north until it settles on the true north, aligned with the axis of rotation. That is how a gyro compass works, and I'm not going to sit down.
Have you investigated the direction of the spin of the gyro?
Yeah.
Right.
And how
with the mercury ballistic or the liquid ballistic with the pumps.
It doesn't matter which way the gyro is spinning. What matters is the direction that the Earth Earth is spinning because that's how the torque is placed on.
What is your actual statement about this? What is your actual claim concerning this?
When the mechanical gyro compass is a gyroscope that is locked to the horizon, it will attempt to rise if pointed east or descend if pointed west. It is forced to maintain alignment with the horizon by the application of a torque, in which case, in your example, that is what the Mercury is. It applies a torque to it to keep it locked to the horizon. As a result of that torque, by the right-hand rule, it will precess to north because of the direction of the rotation of the Earth from any direction that it is initially.
It's not about rotation of the Earth, Bob.
Okay, shall we go back to the actual manual?
I'm going to have to intersect here and say you've had your 5 minutes here, guys.
I'm done. I'm done.
Okay, would you like to
I've made my point. I've made my point, accurately described how a gyroscope works, and he has not been able to even demonstrate
yes,
the
principle. Did, Bob. I absolutely described it. I described it in detail. How dare you? Let's be honest here, Bob.
Brian,
well, to be honest, what you did was gave a bunch of word salad about things you don't understand.
Even left out the fact that the oil element had pumps. You even left that out earlier.
Right, guys, listen. I'm going to give you 15 minutes at the end of the debate to go back over anything that you're not quite happy with. So, for the process of this actual debate format, if we could move on to question 2, and then you guys can get into it at the end, if that's all right.
Okay.
Okay, Brian. So, would you like to ask your question 2, please? Thank you.
Okay, to Bob, question 2. If the Earth is a globe, then how can we see the whole of the sky, including the whole of both vortexes, 2 Polaris and Sigma Octantis, from the correct elevated position at the equator, with time-lapse photography, by looking to our left and to our right, and not having to look at a downward angle towards both sky poles individually? Question mark.
Okay, the answer to that is because at the equator, that's the geometry.
No, Bob, that's not an answer.
Yeah, it is. And
no,
I mean,
sorry, Bob, that's not an answer.
Your own photographic evidence confirms it.
No, it doesn't, Bob. It confirms the flat Earth, not the globe Earth.
All right. Well, you can have your little fantasy, but your own photographic evidence confirms it.
Okay.
Shall we play your evidence?
You can if you want, but remember to yeah, absolutely. If you want to play it, do play it.
Let's
but remember to show everything about it, because there's 2 videos in there.
Here are your words. Here are your words.
Yeah. Now, the globe Earth's diameter is 12,742 kilometers. All right, go on. What is it we're doing now, Bob? I can't hear it, Bob.
If you're playing anything there, Bob, we're not actually getting it through the feed.
No, let's just debate it, Bob. Let's just debate it because.
I know what it is. My mistake. My bad.
Still not getting it.
My bad. I got it. Is that coming across now, Ranty?
Unfortunately, no.
If you want me, I'd say exactly what I said. My question is to you, Bob. It's for you to answer this, and you're not answering it. I stand
okay, now here's my question to you. I want you to tell me yes or no.
Every question is 5 minutes.
Yeah, did you indicate that the stars do not move in 2 different directions at the north and south celestial pole?
Hang on, Bob. What did you just say there?
Did you not assert that the stars do not move in 2 different directions from the equator at the north pole? They move in an anti-clockwise fashion, and in the south pole, they move in a clockwise fashion. Did you not
assert, Bob? One second. What I did was clear up. What you didn't clear up. Your original assertion was that all the stars in the north go in one direction, and all the stars in the south go in an opposite direction. And I showed this to be not correct. I filled everyone in.
Okay,
on
so you
said
correct. That they did not
I'm not finished yet. I am not finished. I am not finished. I'm speaking, right? You made this claim towards me. Now I'm going to clear it up. What I said, what I showed, was that is not true. That is not the full truth, right? The truth is they all go in the same direction. But if you're standing on the equator and you look north, then they're going to be going one way. And you turn around and look the other way, down south, and you're going to be going the other way. Now, Bob, my question to you was, hang on 1 second, my original question to you has not been answered. That was, how can you see both of those from your left and right at an elevated position, in the correct elevated position at the equator? How can you see Sigma Octantis and Polaris, right?
Because that is the geometry, and that was easily shown on Joe's
lathe. You can't do that on the globe. You can't do it on the globe.
Wait, hang on, Brian, 1 sec. You've asked a question and then you've asserted something, so you can't just assert straight away that it can't happen on a globe. Please let Bob explain what his answer is. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay.
Well, no, what he did was he said in his presentation that if they did rotate in opposite directions, it was proof of the globe, so therefore we don't see it. Well, I showed that it did, so by his own admission, the Earth is a globe. No, but let's go ahead and do you have?
That's not what I said. I just said a minute ago what
do you recall the graphic from Josh Lay's?
Yes, I do.
Where you added the North Star in close and local instead of the parallel lines.
What do you mean, Bob?
The North Star is very distant, and as a result, all the lines. Stop talking. Now, are you going to interrupt me again? Because we'll end this right now.
You haven't answered my original question for us, Bob.
I am answering it right now. You need to shut your mouth and listen to the answer and learn something.
Answer the question, Bob. The question is to you. You haven't answered it. Answer my question.
He's going to continue to interrupt me.
Yeah,
I'll see you later, man.
No, don't run off, Bob, please.
I'm not going to be interrupted by this idiot.
But he did ask. Well, to be fair, you're both sort of like over talking each other. If we could try and get a little order, that would be much appreciated. You know. There is a question on the table, and if Brian, you can not say anything for about a minute or so and give Bob the chance to respond, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. The light from the North Star and from the southern stars arrives at the Earth in parallel lines. These are not local objects. They are very distant. Now, the reason that Brian is getting some confusion is he wants to draw the North Star very near to the North Pole on the globe and can't understand why there's an angle there. There's not an angle. It's very distant. The light is all coming in parallel. So if you look at the light coming in from the North Star, if you're standing on the equator and you look at the light coming in from the North Star and you look at the light coming in from Cygni Octantis, they are coming in at 180 degrees to each other. So you turn to your left, there's the North Star. You turn to your right, there's the Southern Star. Now, on both directions, the horizon actually drops away below you because of the curvature of the Earth. So my answer is the geometry causes that to happen, and it's not unexpected. It's just fine. So there's no controversy with that.
Okay,
so
guys.
Go right ahead. Hold on.
So yeah, that's fine. So you've got a very concise answer there. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to get into this, guys, and you can both
just respond to what was just said, Randy.
Of course,
I kept quiet now. I'd like to respond to that.
Okay, well, I'm still going to start the 5-minute countdown because time-wise we seem to be slipping away at the minute. So let's get this 5-minute timer going. And guys, if you want to get into this, the floor's yours now. So what I would like to do though is a very concise question, and then silence, and then people give a response when you're doing the questions. And when we do the 5-minute countdown, you guys can just get into it then. You can have your back and forths. But whilst you're actually asking a question, if you could ask the question and get a very concise answer, because ultimately that's what I'm after on this show, is a really good answer, a really good question and a really good answer, and then you guys can fight it out afterwards. Is that okay?
Fine. Okay.
Perfect, right. Okay, 5 minutes starts now.
For who?
Okay, Bob, you asserted, right? Your assertion, your just belief, very far away. That is belief. That is not something that you can absolutely empirically prove. You're saying that the light comes from Polaris in parallel lines. Okay, Bob, it doesn't matter how far away you believe Polaris is. Okay, that doesn't matter, because on the globe, from the equator to the North Pole, right, there's 5,400 miles. That's a hidden amount of 2,736.8 miles, okay, down to where the North Pole will be. So a straight line out from that, no matter how far away it is, Bob, you're going to be looking down. We're seeing those two, Polaris and Sigma Octantis, to our left and right. And in that video that was shown, Bob, the video, the time lapse of it in the circle, that is using a wide-angle lens, which is distorting the view. When you look at the view in the other video where he shows them taking the photographs, the view is different. It's up over the horizon all the time. So, Bob, how can you have Polaris and Sigma Octantis over the horizon and be able to be seen from the equator, both left and right, and the whole sky just from the equator on a globe? It can't be done.
I've already explained it to you. It's basic geometry. If you draw a tangent line on the Earth at the equator, one end will be Polaris, one end will be Sigma Octantis. So that's my answer, and that's the geometry, and that's backed up by a sextant, because that's how we determine.
The sextant determines
the angle from the horizon to the North Star, for example.
Yeah, if you go north or south, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you go north or south by 10 degrees.
Why can't you see in the southern hemisphere?
Well, you won't see Polaris in the southern hemisphere.
Why not?
Polaris.
Why not?
Well, you only see it 1.23 degrees past the equator.
Okay, why can't you see it in the southern hemisphere, though?
Because your angle of view to it is too far.
Sure.
It has dropped.
Right. No.
Bob, really? Hang on a second, Bob. So.
No, look. Not only don't you know how a gyro works, you don't even know how a sextant works. Very important.
So, according to you, right, the fact that Polaris might be close and that it's your angle of view will change over distance. You're saying that can't happen, but you're saying that's ridiculous. But it being 323 light years away, that's 671 million miles an hour for 323 light years. Sorry, 323 years to even get to the place, according to your model. You're saying that's not ridiculous, but it's ridiculous. It's something to drop in your angle of view. If you stand with your back to a skyscraper, 60-foot skyscraper, and you walk away from it, the time will come where the top of that
skyscraper. How does a sextant work?
Because
how does a sextant work?
I don't know. I know that
you're arguing about something you have no idea of. If your angle to Polaris at 45 degrees north is 45 degrees, how high is Polaris?
45 degrees above the equator.
Yeah, how high
the same
is
on the flat out. That's
Polaris?
Exactly the same on the flat out. It doesn't change, Bob.
You have no clue what you're talking about. Stop. If at the 45 or at the 45th parallel, if there is a 45-degree angle to Polaris, Polaris is above the North Pole as far as it is from your position on the Earth to the North Pole. That's simple trigonometry. That gives us a height for Polaris. Now, if you go down to the equator, that should be a 23-degree angle there. Yet it is a 0-degree angle because the Earth's surface is curved. A sextant does not work on a flat Earth, and that is simply not an argument.
On a flat Earth for years, but it was built with the idea that we're on a globe. That's the difference. It's a pre-assumption.
All right, well, that's just word nonsense. I mean, clearly you don't know anything about a sextant. You don't know anything about a gyro compass. What do you want to talk about next, Chief?
Well, Bob, what was your question is next?
Okay, what is angular momentum and the right-hand rule?
Well, they were two different questions, Bob.
Well, I asked them earlier.
Two questions in together.
Okay, so I'm going to put both of them together. So what is angular momentum and the right-hand rule?
Angular momentum is what the spinning axis of the gyroscope, for instance, that is angular momentum, where the momentum is going forward and it's being pulled down. So consequently, when there's torque, it keeps it upright. It's like basically...
Okay, hang on. Angular momentum is indeed aligned with the spin axis of a gyroscope, and it is the ability of the gyroscope to resist or to have rigidity in space.
Could I
Yes.
could I intersect?
That's what the
Well,
angular momentum is.
guys,
So,
could I intersect
correct.
for just a second? Just to give you both the same privileges. You've asked a question there, Bob. If you could give Brian just 1 full minute to answer properly,
Please.
that would be great. Cheers, thank you.
Okay, thanks, man. Angular momentum is the momentum of the spinning wheel. I'm just using the gyro because that's the best, that's the best example there is, and we're talking about that. Is the spinning axis of the gyro, right? The wheel has angular momentum as the momentum has been brought forward, but then it's been brought down, and forward and down, forward and down. So it's angular momentum, and that helps it to have, as you said yourself, rigidity in space.
Get it out.
Yeah, rigidity in space, which basically you're heading for what's known as inertia.
Okay, very good. You actually did a somewhat decent job with that. The angular momentum is aligned with the spin axis of the gyro, and it is the resistance of that gyro to be turned and give it rigidity in space. Now, the factors involved in having angular momentum include the angular velocity of the gyro and the mass of the gyroscope. So, how do you determine which direction that angular momentum is pointing? Or does it point in both directions?
Well, what do you mean?
Is this part of the original question, or have you asked the question and you're quite satisfied with the response?
Well, he kind of got it right. It has to do with the ability of the gyroscope to resist being turned. It's a property called rigidity in space. Yeah. So you didn't do too bad of a job there.
Okay, well,
but you started talking about things being moved around and such. The question specifically was, what is angular momentum? And the angular momentum is the ability of the gyroscope to maintain rigidity in space. And the factors involved have to do with the angular velocity of the gyroscope and the mass of the gyroscope.
Your 5 minutes starts now, guys.
All yours. All yours, Chief.
So what is it? What question are you asking me now, Paul?
You want me to ask you another question?
Well, I thought you were asking me a question.
This is question.
I don't go on to my next question.
I mean, if you're happy to end to not really get into it, if you're both satisfied.
Well, the next question that I had for him was, what is the
right hand? You asked me about the right hand rule, Bob, wasn't it?
Yes. Now, okay, if you would like to answer that in reference to angular momentum, I'd very much like to hear it.
The right hand rule is, I've learned it in a slightly different way. They use it in many different things. There's a left hand rule as well.
I'm not asking about that. I'm asking about the right hand rule specifically related to gyroscopes.
Well, that wasn't part of your original question. You asked me about the right hand rule.
Yes.
That was your original question.
And the issue is, we're discussing gyroscopes. The right hand rule is pertinent to gyroscopes. That's my question.
As far as gyroscopes is connected to rotation and navigation, the right hand rule would be like the axle would be the thumb of your right hand, and the momentum is the wheel spinning over. So it would be like the axle.
So in other words, you have no idea.
Well, I learned it different. I learned it through magnetohydrodynamics. That's what I looked at.
Okay, well, you obviously don't know what it is when it comes to gyroscopes, so I will educate you. If you wrap the fingers of your right hand in the direction of the spin of a gyroscope and stick your thumb out, that is the direction of force. So the angular momentum, if the gyroscope looking from behind is spinning in a clockwise manner, the angular momentum will be directed away from you. Now, if you place a torque on that, such as if you have a gyroscope that is trying to rise up with the morning sun, and you put a torque on that to drive it back down to the horizon, you are again placing a torque on that. And if you wrap the fingers of your right hand in the direction of that torque and stick your thumb out, that is the direction of force that you are applying to the angular momentum, which is why, my friend, when you hold a gyroscope down to the horizon, the gyroscope will precess according to the right-hand rule to align itself with the axis, the north-south axis of rotation of the Earth. And that, my friend, is how a gyro compass works.
You first start. Your original question, Bob, was, what is the right-hand rule? You didn't specify what it had to be about or what it was connected to. Your question was, what is the right-hand rule?
Well, I assume that you were
gave an
bright
answer
enough
of the
to
right
figure
hand.
it was about what we were talking about, but I guess
Yeah,
you want to go off on some
you
bizarre
You should
tangent.
have worded your question better, because I learned I learned about the right-hand rule in magnetohydrodynamics.
Does that have anything to do with what we're talking about today?
It actually did, because that's connected to. It actually did because it was connected to Mercury and the moving of Mercury.
The Mercury only keeps the gyroscope down on the horizon. It has no other function with a gyroscope, and it's been replaced with oil.
Yeah.
If the Mercury itself was the important thing with a gyroscope or a gyro compass, why put a gyroscope in it? Just put the Mercury and run a current through it, and it'll do it.
No. The argument I had, Bob.
Look, I asked you to please research the function of a gyro compass, and you have not done.
Was that the Mercury didn't have a pump, yet it was doing what liquid would do. Okay, with a pump, right? And I assert that it's because of the DC current going through that and the magnetic influence of the North causing that Mercury to move away.
Well, that's nonsense. So
prove it's nonsense then, Bob. Prove that I
already have.
What I'm saying, Bob, what you're asserting about the gyroscope, as opposed to it working with the rotation of the Earth and with gravity, that's very vague. What I'm saying is provable science. That is provable. I had a video on my presentation showing this.
Look, man, I told you to try and learn a little bit about a gyroscope before you came out here. You're completely unprepared.
You're not my father or something, Bob. You don't tell me to do anything.
All right.
Well,
I'm not going to waste any more time with you on the gyroscope because clearly you have no idea what you're talking about. Shall we go on to something?
I have no idea what I'm talking about. Is that your question was not, you asked me what is the right-hand rule.
That's ridiculous.
You asked me what was the right-hand rule. That was your question.
Ranty.
Yes.
Ranty, we are discussing gyroscopes and we're talking about the right-hand rule and the consequence, or in the setting of gyroscopes and angular momentum. I don't really have time for this nonsense. Shall we move on to something else?
Well, your time's just about up anyway. So.
All right, it's up.
Your time's just about up. So
I'm done. Take it.
So, Brian, I believe it's your question too.
It's my question now. Bob had to ask me two of his questions at one time there.
Ask me two of yours, if you be my guest.
No, because I want one at a time, Bob.
Whatever you want.
All right. Question 3 to Bob. How did you, Bob, verify your claim that the gyro compass, ring laser gyroscope, fiber optic gyroscope, and any other form of gyroscope to be measuring Earth rotation? Question mark.
Okay, number one, the gyro compass is certified for navigation. It's established technology. Same thing with the ring laser gyro and the fiber optic gyro are both cousins to each other. And the motion of gyroscopes is well understood. These are not new science. They are not in question. They are established for navigation. Commercial airliners, for example, use an inertial reference system, which use ring laser gyros for pitch, roll, and yaw. A laser gyroscope does not precess as a mechanical gyroscope does. So it has absolute rigidity in space when you point it, which is why when you have it sitting on the Earth, it measures a 15 degree per hour rotation. Now, in my presentation, I very correctly and very astutely pointed out that the sky could be rotating, the Earth could be rotating, or it could be some combination of both. The ring laser gyro clearly demonstrates that it is the Earth and only the Earth rotating, and the mechanical gyro compass requires the rotation of the Earth in order to function. So you're asking me to prove my shoe size is 11 and a half. It's 11 and a half because I measured it. I bought 11 and a half shoes and they fit my feet. That's how we know that a gyro compass, a ring laser gyro compass, a fiber optic gyro compass does exactly what I presented it doing. And we understand the motion of gyroscopes really quite well.
Okay.
We understand precession. We understand nutrition or nutation.
Okay, you're monologuing, Bob. Okay, you're monologuing. Okay.
You asked me for the answer.
No. What happened is that I asked you for an answer, and what you did is an appeal to authority. Basically, is what you made there.
That's what
crap. Right? No,
that's
it was
crap.
an appeal.
You don't even know what an appeal to authority is.
Okay. Hang on, Brian, one sec.
And Bob in brackets.
Brian.
You verify it.
Okay.
I don't need to verify anything. That's called a begging the question fallacy because you are making the assertion
I'm speaking now. You
that
got
in
no
order
point.
for something to be true,
hold on,
I
guys.
have to personally verify.
Can I interrupt for just 1 second here? Okay, so you have had an answer. You've had an answer there, Brian, and I know you're not completely enthralled with the response. So if you'd maybe like to just tweak a little thing on it and just ask one more thing on that, and then we'll get into a 5-minute countdown. Yeah. So is there anything that you want to sort of like home in on and just get a more specific answer on one particular thing?
Well, the problem is that there's too much to home in on. He started bringing his shoe size into it. It's like, that is not evidence that the Earth is spinning. That is not evidence that the gyro compass or any other gyro.
It is if you know how they work.
Hang on 1 second. Hang on, Bob. That is not evidence that the Earth is spinning.
It is if you know how they work. That's the only. They require rotation.
Look at how they work. Well, Bob, I spoke to somebody who spoke with somebody.
I don't care who you spoke to. Are they here now?
The person they spoke to said, we don't know how it works.
Okay, you're on countdown now, guys. Go ahead.
I don't care who you talk to. I don't care whose mother's sister's cousin's uncle is a navigator on the Navy. You tell me how. You can't even tell me how a gyro compass works. You can't tell me how a gyroscope uses precision.
Yeah, I told you what precision was. I was able to explain all that. The phantom element, the
phantom element doesn't have anything to do with it, other than to keep it locked on the horizon.
Hang on, Bob. What's going on here is I asked you a question, and you basically
I answered it.
You basically, hang on 1 second, Bob. You basically told me, right? You basically told me that no, I didn't verify it. That's basically what you told me.
I don't need to verify it personally. You see, that's your begging the question fallacy. I don't have to do everything personally in order to know what it is. You can't
make an assertion that the Earth is rotating, Bob.
Yeah, I sure can.
It's a compass unless you absolutely personally verified it.
A gyro compass works on the rotation of the Earth. I do not accept your requirement that in order for something to be true, I have to personally do it. I've never had a baby, Chief, but I understand it hurts.
Yeah, but
I don't need to personally have a baby to know that it's painful. Yeah. That's a foolish begging the question fallacy, and I'm not going to play into it.
I don't accept, right, that you.
I don't care.
You didn't bother finding out empirically whether it proved it or didn't prove
Physics
it.
does not care what you accept or don't accept.
People like you are asserting things like that, but you haven't actually proven it.
Physics does not care if you accept it or not. It just does. Physics does.
Sure, you can't make assertions like that. At least say my opinion or I reckon or something.
It's not my opinion. It's what the physics says it does, and it doesn't require my approval nor yours.
Bob, it does.
I'm done.
If someone's telling me
I've answered the question, I don't have anything further to say to you.
I want to see proper evidence, Bob, and you're not showing it. You haven't shown it yourself either. You can't assert to the world that this is proving that the whole world is turning, and then go, well, I haven't bothered looking into it.
What makes you think I haven't bothered looking into it? I understand the physics. It doesn't require my permission.
But Bob, you told me, you said, not just me, you told the whole audience that you didn't need to do that.
I don't need to personally do it myself. I understand the physics. I know how it works. Other people know how it works. Everybody seems to know how a gyro compass works except for you.
No, Bob, I've been learning pretty good about the gyro compasses. I do know how
I don't really think you
recognize that there was no compass on the Mercury ballistic.
The Mercury ballistic does nothing. The Mercury does nothing but is part of the mechanism that holds the gyroscope on the horizon. It has nothing to do with finding north.
You didn't even recognize that. And
I've got the manual right here, and I showed it.
That's provable. That's constantly provable.
I have the manual for the instrument right here, and I showed it to you. You don't even know the difference between a gyro compass and a gyroscopic heading indicator.
So
who do you think is a little more credible?
Exactly. I proved it afterwards. I knew all about that. The point is, no, I'm not an expert on gyro compasses.
Move on to your next question, or I'm done with this question.
Either. You're in the medical field, are you know?
I'm done with this question. Move on to your next one.
I'm not done with it. I'm not finished with this yet.
All right. Well,
you can't make assertions like that and then not back them up.
Yeah, there's still just over a minute left on this.
Yeah, but Bob, you can't just say every time you're not happy with how the debate is going, I'm done with this nonsense. Looking down your nose type attitude. You're the one who's asserting the Earth is spinning and saying the gyro compass is proving it. And then when you're asked, how did you verify that? You go, I didn't need to. What's that? What's that to the world, Bob? It's the world you're speaking to when you're saying those things. Science is saying this kind of stuff, and science is not proving it. So what's that? What's that? Someone like me who goes, well, where's the actual evidence? Well, we don't need to come up with any of that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, for me and for a lot of people.
Did you read the manual for the Gyro compass?
Yeah, it asserts it in that.
Watch my videos.
I didn't watch your videos. I watched other people's videos.
Okay, well, that was your mistake then.
I don't have to watch your, you said yourself that you didn't verify it. So what's the point in watching your videos? It's just going to be you asserting the same things that other people are asserting, and you and them not finding out for definite.
Okay, time for the next question. So, Brian, would you care to present your next question there? Thank you very much.
Will I do my next one then like that, Randy, right? Yeah, because Bob went 2 in a row.
He did, yeah.
Okay. This one, I think some of this one has been kind of... Okay, I'll ask this one anyway, because this will bring us along the same kind of line, even though some of it has already been answered, to be honest with you. Okay, question 4 to Bob. Is it true that the gyro compass must be set to north-seeking as opposed to instantly finding north, and that the use of a magnetic compass is still used to check and verify that the gyro compass has actually correctly found north and not some other direction, like south, which it can do?
Okay, the answer to this is that you do not know the difference between a gyroscopic heading indicator, which is what you're describing here, and a gyro compass. A gyro compass, as the manual clearly states, gyroscopically finds true north. A gyroscopic heading indicator, which is used on aircraft, is basically a gyroscopic stabilized instrument that you set to your heading and then have to check every few minutes afterwards because it tends to drift up to 4 degrees every 15 minutes or up to 16 degrees per hour, which is an interesting number, don't you agree? So this question right here clearly demonstrates that you do not know the difference between a gyroscopic heading indicator and a gyro compass, because you are asking a question about a gyroscopic heading indicator and calling it a gyro compass. You should have done your homework before you came here to debate me. Now, that's my answer.
Okay. Bob, that's not an answer. That's just basically an ad hominem on me, saying I don't know what I'm talking about. I asked you.
No,
I asked you. Hang on 1 second, Bob. Hang on, you talked.
Okay. Listen, guys. So just to clarify, you've had one response. So if you could just sort of like refine your question, maybe 15 seconds worth, and let Bob respond, that would be great. Cheers.
Well, I asked, Ranty. Right? Is it true that the gyro compass must be set to north seeking as opposed to instantly finding north? And that the use of a magnetic compass, hang on 1 second, the use of a magnetic compass is still used to check and verify that the gyro compass has actually correctly found north and not some other direction. And the only other direction would be south, right? I was asking that, and you started asserting.
How would a gyro compass find south?
How would it find south? Because it's because it would be what can happen is that if it's been turned off and you turn it on and you're setting it wrong, it can sometimes find south, and that's what problems I read online.
How?
Okay, so Brian, do you need clarity on one particular point of this particular question?
There was one particular thing I wanted to know.
Okay, just be specific, please, if you can.
Yeah, right. Is it true that the gyro compass must be set to north as opposed to instantly finding it itself?
Well, you're adding the word instantly. It takes a while to process to get to north, but no, it does not need to be sent. It finds it on its own, as the manual states.
Okay, your 5 minutes. Your 5 minutes starts now, guys. There you go.
Okay. Well, the man who worked with him, whose videos...
I don't know. No argument to
man
authority.
Stated
You tell
that
me
it has to be set
know.
north. It doesn't just find it randomly on its own.
You're talking about a heading indicator, not a gyro compass.
No, hang on. Right. Is the gyroscope part of the gyro compass?
Is the gyroscope part of the gyro compass? Of course. That's why it's called a gyro compass.
Right, yes. And so what part of that is going to be finding north and holding north? Is it the gyro compass or is it the compass card?
It's going
it's the gyroscope.
The gyroscope will process to align itself with the north-south axis of rotation of the Earth due to the rotation of the Earth. As it says right in the First page of the manual that I've already put up.
Yes, they
That's how a
assert
gyro
that.
compass works.
Yes.
Do you even know how a gyro compass? Here, let's pull up the Google. You know, since you're struggling with this.
I'm not struggling with anything, Bob.
Why don't you go
You're
ahead
struggling with your proof
on your
proof of rotation.
I want you to Google
when you were asked about
gyro
that,
compass and read the first paragraph of the wiki definition of what a gyro compass is. Just no, I'm not even going to talk to you about a gyro compass again until you've Googled that and read the first paragraph.
Don't worry, Bob. Don't worry, Bob. I can talk away about gyro compasses if you don't want to.
All right.
I can even put on videos of a guy who
like
works with them as a job if you want to watch his videos.
Well,
you don't work.
Do you work with them
with
as a job? I hope not.
I don't work with them as a job, and neither do you.
Okay, because you don't have any idea what they are.
I do.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the wiki page on
yes,
the
and it's going to assert air rotation and gravity. Do you know?
All right.
A
gyro compass Wikipedia. A gyro compass is a type of non-magnetic compass which is based on a fast-spinning disk and the rotation of the Earth or another planetary body if used elsewhere in the universe to find a geographical direction automatically. Done. Yeah. Your argument's moot.
No, it's not.
It's not manifestly
because there's assertions in there about the rotation of the Earth and gravity. In every time you read about the gyro compass, there's assertions about gravity.
Yeah, I know everybody else is wrong except
gravity is not a force, as has been admitted by astrophysicists. Number one, and by Albert Einstein. Number two is you have not. There is no empirical evidence that it's that there's a
I'm
rotation.
Done with you. Move on to the next question.
Bob, I'm not finished. I'm not finished at all.
All right, I'm going to get some more coffee.
You keep coming in when I'm saying something, Bob. Why do you have to keep on stopping me talking? What is it, Jeff, Bob?
Because it's word salad.
Because no, Bob. You're trying to read off a wiki and go, see, there you go. Right, here's some, you won't listen to me. How come I'm not allowed to speak, Bob?
Because you're wrong.
I'm not wrong,
Bob. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's an argument of ignorance. You couldn't prove
your assertion. And when you're asked about it, you just went quiet. You couldn't prove it, Bob. You're making an assertion that
go ahead and get on with your question, or let's go to the next one.
And then when you're asked to come up with evidence for it, you don't have any. I don't need to find that.
Still a minute and 40 left on this.
Now, 1 second, sorry. Now, Bob, everybody is asserting, right, rotation of the Earth and gravity when it comes to gyro compasses, right? And gyro compasses has this big mystery, right? There's no mystery, Bob. It's not about that. It's about the movement of the gyro itself. That's why it does what it does. It's not the rotation of any Earth or any gravity. It's not proving any of those things. Why did the Mercury ballistic? Why did the Mercury go ballistic? Go from the forward tanks to the backward tanks, the back tanks, the forward tanks to the aft tanks.
That's how it keeps it level.
Yeah. Why did the Mercury go?
That's how it keeps it level.
Why did it go from the forward tanks to the
by gravity?
No.
Okay. Now, look, if you got a point,
in all four pots.
Because I'm getting tired of dealing with this word salad.
Word salad. I'm not the one with word salad. I'm not one reading off of Wikipedia.
I can do this off the top of my head, Chief. All day long.
Yeah, you can spew it. Yeah, you sure can. I've heard it. I heard loads of it. Spewing out a load of nonsense.
All right. Well, I think you've got one more question, then you're done.
You have a question too, Bob.
Oh, is it my turn to have a question?
It's your question, yeah.
Yeah, if you'd like.
I think it's your last question.
What is the difference between a heading indicator and gyro compass?
The heading indicator is showing you a direction. Don't they use heading indicators in airplanes?
Yes.
Yeah.
But how do they function?
Compass is used on a ship.
How do they function differently? Because they're two different types of instruments.
Yeah, but the heading indicator, is that not horizontal? Does not have the spinning at the horizontal?
You tell me. Tell me what a heading indicator is.
Heading indicator doesn't. I think, as far as I know, it has the spinner at the horizontal, and the idea of it is that it's part of the what's the word I'm looking for? It's the simulated horizon, and it keeps.
No, it is not. What is a heading indicator? You're talking about an artificial horizon, which is a different instrument in the six-pack. I'm asking you specifically to tell me what a heading indicator is and how it is different than a gyro compass.
Well, different is it doesn't have a compass card or a phantom element and a backup element. And the
heading indicator most definitely
because it's not on the ship. It's used in airliners or indicate north. To keep an indication or not.
How does
Is
it
that
indicate
correct?
north?
Sorry?
How does it indicate? You still haven't told me what it is. What is a heading indicator? How does it work?
A heading indicator, how does it work? Well, it's a gyroscope. But
What does the gyroscope do?
What does the gyroscope keeps its position in space? It's rigid in space. That's why it's used.
All right. How is a heading indicator different than a gyroscope? Can you even answer that question?
Are you happy with the original question that you asked there, Brian, Bob? And we can move on to a countdown. Perfect. Right, okay, so you're on 5 minutes now.
A directional gyro and a gyro compass. He doesn't know, so I'll give up.
No, I'm answering Bob. But see, the problem is you're asking me about a heading indicator, which has nothing to do with a gyro, which is not a gyro compass, which is what we were talking about. But a heading indicator is used in an airplane. It's a gyro compass used in airliners, right? To keep a constant.
Randy, if he's not going to answer the question, go ahead.
I'm trying to answer, Bob.
I want to know the difference between a heading
indicator and a gyro
compass.
Then you want to break in the middle and say, before I finish answering, you want to break in the middle and say, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
What you're basically trying to do is character assassination. You're not winning the debate on facts. You're trying to beat me with character assassination, Bob.
Hang on, guys.
Bob. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. You're not leaving me.
No, I'm basically just showing you're clueless.
Right, one thing, guys, stop.
One thing to say.
Stop. No, please. No, please. Right. I'd like to start again with this question 5, if you can, and then you can get into this later. Right. So
it's my question 4.
So question 4 from you, Bob, please. If you would like to ask the question again, how you did it.
What is the difference between a directional gyro or a heading indicator and a gyro compass?
Right, Brian, you now have a full minute to make your response there. Okay.
Okay. A heading indicator is something I have not researched, as I was researching gyro compasses, as that's what we were talking about. Heading indicators were not part of, if I remember right, were not part of Bob's presentation. What I argued with was the gyro compass. The heading indicator, from my knowledge about it, is used as a gyroscope used on planes, right? So they always have a true north indication on the plane. That's what, as far as I know, that's what a heading indicator is. A gyro compass is used on ships, and it's connected to the dampers on the ships as well, because they use the gyro compass on ships. So when the ship is rolling, the gyro compass registers this, and the gyro compass lets the dampers know in the ship, so the dampers counteract the rolling of the ship. Things like that. The gyro compass is used for a load of different things on the ship, right? It's not just for one particular. Doesn't have just one particular use.
Are you done?
Yeah.
All right. Clearly, you don't know the difference between the two of them. You have no idea what either one of them actually are.
Well, I have a good idea. I have a good idea what the gyro compass is, Bob.
All right. Well, if you interrupt me again, we're done.
Well, hang on 1 second, Bob. If you keep on saying things,
well, you are.
You are in the. This is important. Sorry, Randy. This is important. Bob has called me, right, an idiot, and been using ad hominems with me, and I'm having enough of this, right? Bob, you don't respect your opponent, and you should do, because your opponent is winning. So you need to start showing respect, Bob.
Well, in your mind.
Get down off the high horse, because you have no high horse to be on, Bob.
Okay, there's one more question that you.
No, do you want me to answer the question and put it out, or do you want to just let him carry on like that?
Right, where are we up to? Right, guys, can you calm down for just a minute?
I'll answer the question. I don't have a problem with it, and describe the difference between the two to show that he has, the point of this question, which I might add, he was given in advance and had an opportunity to check on. All right. The point of the question is he does not know the difference between a directional gyro and a gyro compass. Now, a directional gyro for a heading indicator is a gyroscopic instrument that stabilizes to whatever course you happen to set it to. You generally set them on the ground on a compass rose. And it will hold that course in turbulence in the air, etc., better than a magnetic compass will, which tends to bounce around when the air gets bumpy. Now, you do have to set that to a magnetic compass, and you have to periodically, like every 15, 20 minutes in an aircraft, reset it to a magnetic compass. It just continues to point the way you point it, and it can point any way you want it to. Now, a gyro compass is a different instrument. A gyro compass uses the Earth's rotation and the precession of a mechanical gyro to find self-seek true north. It does not need to be set to any direction. It finds true north on its own as the manual indicates. I'm done.
Okay, Bob, did I or did I not say that the heading indicator was a gyroscope used on a plane, right, to keep a point at true north? Did I say that or not?
It had a true north.
Did I say that or did I not say that?
No, you said it had.
Yeah, I did say that, and the whole chat heard it. You're lying now when you say I didn't say that.
It had a true north on it.
No, I didn't say that. I said it held north.
Okay, your time's up there.
It doesn't hold north. It holds whatever.
Dishonesty, Bob. That was dishonesty right there.
Okay, right. So, is there any more questions to ask? Who still has questions to ask?
I have my last question. That was Bob's last question.
Okay, so
no, I've got one more.
Okay,
I've got number 5.
Oh, maybe he actually does. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you might have skipped number 2 or something, I think. But anyway.
Well, Bob, yeah.
Okay.
No, he's got one more question. Number 5. Do you know your own questions there, Brian?
Go ahead. I do, Bob. It's your questions is being mixed up because you asked 2 at one time. Remember?
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, you mix things up. So
I have a question.
That's your fault, Bob. For not
hang on. We have one question each, guys. So who wants to take the lead on the last question?
Bob, go with his one.
Okay, Bob. Do you want to ask your question, and then if you want to give a minute or so for Brian to make a full response, that'd be great. Cheers.
All right. I want you to tell me about the solar analemma. I want you to tell me why it's shaped like a figure 8, why there are narrow and wide loops, and what it looks like at different locations, specifically the North Pole, 45 north, the equator, 45 south, and the South Pole.
Okay, Bob, that was not your original question.
It's right there, Ranty. Check the questions I sent you.
Your question was confusing. This is something I said to Ranty, that the question was confusing, as you weren't being as it wasn't clear what you're actually asking. So I said I'd wait till right now to find out exactly what you're asking.
I want you to tell me about the solar analemma. Yeah. I want you to tell me why it's shaped the way it is and what it looks like at different parts of the world.
Do you want that on the flat Earth or do you want the globe?
I want your answer. Answer the question.
Which one do you want? Do you want the explanation of the flat Earth or the globe Earth?
Well, we'll stick with reality. You can go with the globe.
We'll go with that fantasy then, right? Okay, the reason that there's a figure 8 is because of the offset elliptical orbit of the Sun and the 23.5 degrees 23.5 degree tilt of the Earth, and the fact that in the globe model that the Earth slows down when it's in the aphelion part of the analemma and speeds up at the perihelion part of the analemma.
Very good.
Now, 1 second, Bob. The reason that is the case on your model is because you had to twist it, your model, in twist and turns up and down to get it to fit the solar analemma. Now, you also asked me there a minute ago about from the south, what the solar analemma looks like from the south. It looks the same, although the higher part of the north is slightly lower in the sky. What do
you mean by the higher part on the north is slightly lower?
Because the northern part is the
No, answer the question. What do you mean the higher part on the north is lower in the sky?
Okay,
slightly lower.
I'm going to give you 5 minutes starting now, guys. There you go.
Because you're at a distance. If you're in the south, let's say you're in, I don't know, southern Chile, then you're not going to see it up as high. The sun is not going to look as high at that time of year as it does as other parts of the world.
Ranty, do you have my live stream up?
Oh, this should be interesting, Bob. I'm looking forward to this.
Let me just refresh it.
Now, am I going
Where's this analemma scene?
Just 1 second whilst I'm refreshing it, because playing it live at the same time with all the other programs kind of.
Have you got a photograph of the analemma from the southern hemisphere?
Yes. Where is this analemma scene?
I can't see it. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah,
now.
just 1 sec. It's just taking a little time to bring it up. 1
second. I have to refresh my YouTube page because the YouTube kind of messes with the Mac sometimes. Just refresh this page. I can't see. I just have a
Ranty?
white screen.
Are you seeing it, Ranty?
I'm seeing the star trails. Yeah.
No, not star trails. Are you seeing the analemma with the word west in the middle of it?
Not quite yet. This might take a while because
I'm not seeing that on the screen.
I'm trying to stream from you and then restream it. So it's like a 2-minute time delay here. So if you want to move on from that, just to get this up.
All right, I want you to tell me what the analemma in the southern hemisphere will look like.
For me?
Yes,
see,
you.
Well, it's not going to look any different. It's still going to have the bigger loop at the bottom and the smaller loop at the top.
Okay, so the bigger loop will be at the bottom and the smaller loop at the top. What will it look like at the North Pole?
It has to.
What will it look like at the North? Okay, so if it does, okay, so on a flat Earth,
the sun doesn't go as far as the South and North Pole, Bob. It only goes to the Tropic of Cancer, the equator, Tropic of Capricorn, back to the equator, back to the Tropic of Cancer.
Okay, so Ranty, do you see the analemma now?
It's still not up yet. The time delay still hasn't got there yet. And then it'll still have to. That's only for me seeing it, and then it'll have to. Then I'll have to represent it, which takes about a minute to go through because we were on a time as well.
Okay, so the analemma in the southern hemisphere will have the bigger loop on the bottom and the smaller loop on the top.
It has to, Bob.
It has to. All right, and if it doesn't,
then your photograph is not a real photograph of the southern hemisphere, Bob.
All right, what does it look like at the South Pole?
At the South Pole?
Yes.
What do you mean?
The South Pole of the Earth, what does the analemma look like?
If I'm on Antarctica, what would the analemma look like?
Yes.
If I was to take time-lapse photography?
Yes, that's what an analemma is, dumbass.
I don't know, what did you... I'm not a dumbass, Bob. I don't need...
I want it below the Antarctic Circle at the South Pole.
Hang on a second. Hang on, wait. I've had enough of your little ad hominem.
All right, then quit.
I have yet to see a photograph of
right now?
The southern hemisphere.
Do you see the analemma, Ranty?
I do, yeah. I'm just transitioning.
All right, tell me where that's taken. Tell me where that's taken, Brian.
I haven't seen.
Tell me where you're going to see an analemma that looks like that.
I can't see it, Bob. I said it's not on the screen yet. For some reason, it's not on the screen. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, it's not up yet because. Hang on, there we go. So it's going to take about a minute now for the feed to show through on because you can't share screens right now, Bob. So that's the problem that we're having. So I'm having to share your stream that's delayed and then this one too. So give it about another 30 seconds.
So the analemma, what will the analemma look like in the
analemma?
Analemma. What will it look like in the evening on the equator?
On the equator, well, if it's on the equator, it's going to be in the evening time. It's going to be off to the left. Off to the right, sorry, off to the right.
And what's the shape going to be?
It's going to be the same.
All right, now where's the big loop and the small loop going to be?
Big loop is going to be towards the north. It's going to be higher. That's
okay.
The it's not going to be on its side, Bob. It can't be.
Okay. Okay. Well, it certainly can on a. It can on a globe.
That is it. No, Bob. That's a diagram. That's a diagram. That is not a photograph.
So you see it now, right?
I never saw that before, Bob.
Yeah.
That is not.
Now,
show me.
Tell me where that's taken.
Show me a proven photograph of it.
There's one right there. There's one right there. Tell me where that's taken. You don't have to give me an exact location, but tell me where that's taken.
That's no. That's not taken anywhere. That's a diagram, Bob.
No, that's not a diagram. Do you see the sunset with the redness at the horizon?
I just see a thing. I just see a thing that's supposed to be the equator with the word west on it.
Okay, wait until the next one comes up. Now, I've left that up long enough, so I'm going to go to the next one.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next one. I just see the equator, the one that's supposed to be the diagram. I see the diagram.
Yeah, that's a diagram on the equator. Now, do you see another one there yet?
Not yet, I don't. No.
Yeah, that's going to take another minute or so.
Now, I've already switched over to the next one, so what I'm doing is I'm leaving these up, so you're going to have to move fast there, Chief.
I can't move fast because I haven't even seen the next one. If you're not going to leave them up long enough for it to be, if you're not going to leave them up,
I'm leaving them up for about 30 seconds.
Are you scared of your evidence? Because this first thing you posted is not a photograph.
No, this is going to be the video for Friday.
Do you know how the analemma works?
All right, yeah, I do. Now, do you have the photograph?
Why would it be different in the south then?
What do you see right there? Do you still have the one that says west?
I'm still seeing the equator diagram.
All right.
Yeah. Right. What am I seeing there? Yeah, I'm seeing the.
I'm asking you. Where's that taken?
I don't know where that's taken.
All right. Why? Okay. Where's?
Can I respond to your original question of what I'm seeing?
Yeah, what is it?
The big loop at the if that's in the south, the big loop is to the south and the small loop to the north. And as I said, the sun's in the north would look lower.
All right, so you're wrong then.
Why would they look lower in the sky? Because you're further away, Bob.
That's the southern hemisphere. Now this next one right here, where you just see the big loop, where's that?
I don't know if it's southern hemisphere. I couldn't find a southern hemisphere.
Yeah, I know you don't know anything. I know how the analemma
I know a lot
works.
about the analemma.
All right, tell me where that one's taken.
This one here.
You have the next one yet?
That one, I'm not sure. I saw one where it was upright. I saw a small one where it was upright. Never gone back to.
That's the South Pole. That's just the bottom loop. Now, what about this? What about this seed-shaped one here?
Which one are you talking about? Hang on. You keep switching around in the thing, right?
Well, I told you to keep up. We're doing them in order.
Shut up! I can't keep up if the screen is 30 seconds behind and you're talking about something and I'm not seeing it.
All right, let me know. Which one do we have now?
Listen, Bob, I'm willing to debate you, but your manners is really, really bad.
Which one do you have now?
You have a wicked bad attitude. Right, and you have yourself up on some pedestal you have no business being on.
Well, next time you try and challenge me, you should have thought of that. All right. Now, which one do you have up there now?
I should have thought that you're stupid.
Yep. Which one do you have up now?
There's another insult back to you.
All right. So you're not answering questions anymore because you don't know. Which one do you have up now?
This is I don't know what.
What do you have up there now?
Right. There's another thing, and I don't know what it is or where it's from.
Is it a bean-shaped thing?
What?
Is it a bean-shaped thing?
It looks like it's taken from the ice, and it just shows some things that look like suns, but it doesn't look real to me. I've seen that before.
Going up, yeah, that's the analemma from the South Pole.
I've seen that before myself, Bob. There's no photo. I searched for photographs of the analemma from the southern hemisphere, and I searched and searched and searched, and I couldn't find them, Bob. I couldn't find a real photograph. I've seen all those.
That's because you suck.
A real photograph.
No.
We're not producing real photographs, Bob.
Now this one right here that you see.
That looked to be real. That one that you said was from the south. That looked to be real. That was it. The rest,
yeah. Do you see this one here that's got all the rocks in the foreground? Where's that one taken?
This is half an analemma. I don't know what this is. Yeah, I'm looking at something with rocks and things that I don't know what that's supposed to be.
That's the analemma from Mars.
Ah, go away.
All right.
My
now.
God.
Okay. One more minute on this. One more minute on this.
All right. This road of, I don't even want to go down the road of calling your names and all that. That's nonsense.
All right, there you go. There's the analemma right there.
Just showing me stuff from Mars is absolutely ridiculous, Bob. You don't know what
I
Mars
just wanted to see if you even knew what it was.
You'll never be there. It's ridiculous. It's not evidence.
All right. Well.
You didn't show me any real. There was one there that looked like it possibly was from the south, possibly, and it looked exactly like I said it would.
With a large loop above the lower loop, the smaller loop?
You were exactly as I said it looked.
You don't even remember what you told me, do you?
I do remember what I told you that the sun.
You told me the large loop would be on the top and the small loop would be on the bottom. It's not.
I know what I said. I said it would look lower from the south simply because you're at such a distance from it. And that's proven the flat out.
All right, Ranty, I've had enough fun with this guy.
There's just one more question.
Yeah, I'm all done with him.
One more question from you there, Brian. And are you ready for your question there, Brian?
Yeah, I am. Because something he's showing me absolute nonsense, Randy. That's absolute nonsense.
Okay, well, we
there's
can
no
maybe
photographs there.
Okay, we can maybe get to that.
Yeah. Anyway, look, that's power. But Bob's whole plan is to try and gaslight me and to try and
Brian, you need to
have fun with it, Brian.
It's anything but come up with actual evidence, Bob.
Brian,
I was willing to have a proper debate with you, Bob, but it ends up you wanted to go down into this road because all you want to do is just have a heap of nonsense and have
Brian, Brian, please. Can we just ask this last question, please? Thank you.
Okay, question 5 to Bob. In your sides, Bob, claims of gyroscopes of different types measuring a 15-degree an hour drift, and this equating to being caused by Earth rotation. Have you personally checked this claim in accordance with the solar analemma? Question mark.
Yep, it's on screen. 15 degrees an hour.
Well, no, Bob, that's not an answer. What did you check? What did you do?
That's a movie of the analemma taken every minute for a year, 180,000 images, and I'll be happy to link the. I'll be happy to link it.
I'm waiting for. I can't see it on screen yet, Bob. But I asked you. What was the question I asked you then, Bob?
Have I verified this against the solar analemma? And there it is.
I asked you the question. I'll ask it again, Bob. Question 5 to Bob. In your sides, Bob claims of gyroscopes of different types measuring a 15-degree-an-hour drift and this equating to being caused by Earth rotation. Have you personally checked this claim in accordance with the solar analemma? Question mark. And you just said, yeah, I did. Here's a picture. I can't see this picture.
There it is right there.
How will you check? How is that? How does that equate to the gyro compass and being a proof of Earth rotation?
That's a 15 degree per hour movement.
Is it, Bob? Is it?
Yeah.
Well, explain this to me, Bob. Right? In
Sure.
your analemma model, okay, in your model.
It's not a model. It's a photograph.
In your model, in your globe Earth model, right?
It's a
Right.
photograph.
1 second. I haven't seen any photograph yet. In your model, in your globe Earth model, right? The Earth, right, is supposed to go around the sun. Is that
Yes.
right? Right.
Yes.
Now, where does all the data for the analemma? Where does all the data for the analemma come from?
Comes from observations from the Earth.
Yeah. No, Bob. Where does it come from? What are those observations?
You can record a solar analemma from
What
anywhere.
are those observations, Bob?
Yeah, you can do that anywhere.
What are we observing, Bob?
Well, what you're doing is you're observing the elevation of the sun.
Bob, I'll
at
answer
a
for you because you're
particular hour.
avoiding it. We're observing the sun, solar, Bob, sun. Okay, we're observing the sun, right?
Yes,
So,
I know that.
In your,
That's what I
in
said.
your world, we observe the sun do all this stuff in our sky, right? And
Yes.
you equate that to us doing all these things, right? And you equate this, the gyro compass, as a proof that we're the ones spinning around this sun, right?
One of them,
Now,
yes.
Right. So at aphelion, we're supposed to be moving slower, right? And at perihelion, we're supposed to be moving faster. Is that correct?
Yes, that's why the loops on the analemma are different.
Right. So, Bob, here's a question for you. If I bought a very, very expensive mechanical Swiss watch, or a very, very expensive mechanical Rolex watch, the top of the line made by the best watch engineers there is, right?
Get on with it.
Right. 1 second. Oh, you'll wait for this, right? And I
No,
set that
actually, I won't.
1 second. 1 second, Bob. I set that watch to 9 o'clock at night at the end of May, right? Well, by your logic and reckoning, right, when it comes to the end of February, that watch won't be telling the correct time. And I'm not talking about daylight savings,
Why?
right? Because the Earth is supposed to be moving faster through those 3 months, whereas that watch works mechanically.
So you're saying the end of May to the next May? Is that what you said?
No, from the end of May to the end of February. By the end of February, that watch won't be showing 9 o'clock, according to your logic.
Well, I don't know about that. Let's have a look at solar analemma.
No, Bob.
All right, so here we go.
Model, hang on 1 second. According to your model, Bob, the sun, the Earth is moving faster through December, January, and February than it is.
Yes.
It's moving slow through June, July, and August, and fast through December, January, and February. Right.
Yes.
So consequently, according to that, my watch that I might pay €3,000 for, the top of the range, made by the best people, right, mechanical watch, right, that I set to 9 o'clock at night at the end of May, right, that come the end of February, that watch won't be telling me to set at the right time. Is that what you're saying?
No, to tell you the right time. There's a difference between mean solar time and apparent solar time.
No, Bob. No, Bob.
That's why the analemma has those wide loops on them.
No, Bob.
You know the difference between...
Problem is,
you know
Bob,
why the loops are wide, right?
That's
a difference between mean solar time.
In your model, what you didn't add in and what you needed to add in your model was that the Earth rotation it would have to change in all different ways for it
doesn't
to
change.
work, right? That's the problem, Bob. Because
You don't. No.
I'm at 52nd north latitude, Bob. Right? At the 52nd
You
north
have no
latitude,
idea what you're talking about.
I have plenty. I know what I'm talking about, Bob.
All right. When you want to learn about the analemma, let me know.
The 21st of June, right? On the 21st of June, right? The sun doesn't set till about 11:15 at night, right? And it rises back up then again at about 4:04 in the morning.
So
right,
what?
right,
Get on
right.
with your question.
If the Earth is moving at the same speed, regardless of the supposed tilt towards the sun in your model, if the Earth is rotating at the same speed, then how come night is so short and we're back around to see the sun again so fast?
Are you seriously asking me
I
to
am asking
explain
you
the
that.
seasons to you?
That is what I'm asking you.
Axial tilt. And
I
it's
know, I
clearly
already
listed
put
right
that
on
in.
your analemma.
Axial tilt. No, Bob, that does not explain it, Bob. That does not
Yeah,
explain
it does. It's right there on the analemma.
No. In your model, the sun, right, is 93 million miles away, and there's supposedly straight sun rays coming to hit the Earth. Now, we don't see straight sun rays, Bob. We see angled sun rays. We don't see straight sun rays. Right? But
I'm not going to argue facts with you.
Bob, in your model, the sun is in a direct straight line to us. But what we see is the sun up in the sky all the time, regardless of the time of the year. There is, in the southern summer, it's lower in the sky. In the northern summer, it's higher in the sky, but it's always above us, Bob. Now, how can the Earth rotate at the same speed?
Actually, no, that's not correct.
The Earth rotate at the same speed on its axis of 23.5 degrees,
Look,
Bob.
You have no idea what you're talking about. In the northern hemisphere, the sun is higher in the summer.
Yeah, axial tilt does not answer that.
Yeah, it does. It's right there on the analemma.
It doesn't answer. The axial tilt does not answer that, Bob.
All right, where is the center of the analemma above the horizon at your location at 52 degrees north?
Where is it?
Yeah, how many degrees above the horizon is it?
I'm not exactly sure where we are.
Okay, do you even have any idea how to calculate it?
Well, if that's going over the tropic
it's 90 minus your latitude is the center of the analemma. How far does it extend above and below that?
What are you asking me? You asked me my latitude.
Because you don't know anything about the analemma, and
I know what there is to know about the analemma. You have no idea, absolutely zero idea of how the analemma is explained on the flat Earth. You keep on working with the globe Earth analemma. That doesn't work. It doesn't work, Bob. It's wrong. It doesn't work.
All right. Now, Ranty, is it my turn yet to be uninterrupted for a minute?
Have you asked all your questions here, guys?
I have, but I haven't got a proper answer to any of my questions.
Okay, well, what I'm going to allow now, guys, is I'm going to allow probably a 2 or 3 minute recap from each of you, so you can go back through the questions. Tell us why you think your questions proved your model. Brian, if you want to just go through your questions, well, not your questions, but the experience right now, and tell people why you think you won the debate, and then Bob, if you want to follow straight after.
That's fine with me.
Well, how I know I won the debate is that Bob cannot prove his assertions of gravity and Earth rotation. When he was asked to prove them, he couldn't. When he was asked, did he check the assertion he's making that the gyro compass is proving Earth rotation, he said he didn't. He doesn't understand the analemma on both the flat Earth and the globe Earth. He just keeps on asserting the globe Earth model, which doesn't work. He has no idea about the flat Earth analemma explanation. And the reason he doesn't have is because he's too busy thinking that he knows better. So I cannot see, none of my questions were answered by Bob. He avoided all of them, and I did my best to answer all his questions. I did my best to answer every one of them. And I knew there was things I didn't know. As in, I didn't have the full, about the gyro compass heading in the airplanes. I knew I didn't have the full details on that, but I knew the basics of it. I knew the fundamentals of it. And I said it. All Bob did was he took what I said and he added in bits to it. But it didn't change what I said. What I said was the truth. Right? So I was able to explain what a gyro compass was and what a heading indicator was. Right? Even though I'm not an expert on either one of them. Bob did not prove his claims. Bob did not come up with any science that's repeatable by everybody. I did. And Bob only knows one model. He only knows about the heliocentric belief. He doesn't know anything about the flat Earth. He doesn't know what the flat Earth explanation for the analemma is. He has no idea. He's working off of one page when there's 2 pages you're supposed to read from. Bob has not. I don't see how Bob has done anything here other than avoided 5 questions, give me smart-ass answers. All he's trying to do is gaslight the whole situation. He's not showing any manners. He's sitting up on a pedestal he has no business being on because he doesn't have what it takes to be up there. He doesn't have knowledge that he thinks he has. I told him about people who work with gyro compasses and he started disagreeing. He nearly started trying to use gravity as some kind of a proof, and I had to pull him on that and say, no, sorry, gravity not a force. No, what more do you want? He can't prove rotation, he can't prove gravity. When it came to the stars, he was trying to say, oh, they're very far away, something he can't prove. You know, and he's having a big, eyes to the sky moment now. That's it. It's so hard on me, isn't it? It's so hard on you, Bob, having to deal with so many silly flat earthers.
Okay. No, actually, I find it kind of amusing.
Okay. I'm sure you do, Bob. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you find it really amusing.
Right. Okay, Brian.
So to my audience.
I'd be quite now, Randy. I have enough.
Right, okay, that's great, Brian. Bob, would you like to tell the audience why you feel that you won the debate tonight?
I'm the only one who actually understood the subject. I know the difference between a gyroscopic heading indicator and a gyro compass. I know how a gyro compass works. I know what the solar analemma is, and am able to demonstrate that with photographic evidence. It does not behave as he says it does. And quite frankly, this is really pretty much a waste of time.
Calm down, Brian. Calm down, Brian.
I don't care if you're trying to get out of the hangout. That is not true. He did not show it with photographic. That is false. That did not happen.
Yeah,
that's a lie.
That can be evaluated later, I'm sure. Right,
well, Randy,
carry on,
you know, my big thing on doing this debate with you is I really wanted an opponent that actually did some homework and understood these things. I didn't get that. It was kind of a disappointment. But rather than make it a 2.5-minute debate for you, I decided to play along and just have a little fun with them. But thanks for having me, man.
Okay, well, if you guys want to discuss anything extra, let us know if you're up for that. I'll give you an extra 15 minutes at the end, and then we'll round up. Would you be happy with that, Bob? 15 more minutes on a countdown?
Honestly, I've said what I need to say, and made my demonstrations. If you want to ask some, if anybody wants to have some questions from the audience, I'll head on over to that.
I don't mind. If you want to do questions from the audience, I'll do it, Randy. I don't mind at all. Because to be honest with you, it's very hard to speak to somebody who has such an unbelievably bad attitude towards another person.
Well, it's just pretty much.
You have big ideas about yourself, Bob, that you have no business having. You're not a gyro compass expert.
Apparently, I know what one is, and you don't. So
I know
I'm happy with that.
You want me to give a full explanation to the audience?
Be my guest. That would be great.
I have a question for you, Bob. Right? Why did the Mercury go from one side with the forward tanks to the aft tanks?
I've already answered it, so
you didn't answer that, Bob.
Little games with you.
That, Bob. Answer.
All right, Branty, do you have anything else for me? If not, I'm going to go on.
Show us more photographs of this solar analemma from the equator of the southern hemisphere, Bob.
All right, I'll be out.
Show us real photographs, Bob. Show us some real photographs, Bob.
Okay, I was going to start a 15-minute counter then because I thought you two guys were going to finish up.
He feels he's too big. He's above that, Randy. I'm sorry, no, but he feels he's above all that. So he feels I'm above talking to this guy. He's no big deal. But what have you done, Bob? What have you proven?
Shown you to be a fool. Shown you to be a fool. And
you didn't show
completely
me
unknowledgeable.
I showed you to not be able to come up with any evidence for what you were asserting.
Right. Well, in any event,
I can show my evidence on a video. I can show. It's a 3-minute video. It proves what Mercury does.
Ranty, what I'm going to do is I'll have the solar analemma on Friday. Okay. And on Thursday, I'm going to follow up on Wolfie's video from the first of the week on dyscalculia, which is a kind of like a color blindness when it comes to dealing with geometry and numbers. And I think that'll be an interesting video. So,
okay. And this is on your channel, Bob the Science Guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Brian, how can people find you?
Just on Mr. 22, Brian 22 channel. I don't have a whole lot of videos up there. I'll have more up there. I'll be putting more up there. I have some better software and stuff now, so I'll be doing more stuff.
Okay, excellent.
Can I just say before I go, Bob, I came in to have a debate with you. I didn't come in to ad hominem you. I came in to have a straight debate, and we should have been a good debate. It should have been better for the audience than what it was. And you just didn't have enough respect for your opponent. And you didn't.
I don't have any respect for somebody who doesn't prepare.
I have zero respect for people who have a belief and assertions and zero proof. You're not Bob the Science Guy. You're Bob the No Science Guy. I am Brian the Science Guy. Brian the Science Guy, who can come up with real science and real proof. Unlike Bob, who has diagrams from the equator. Right, diagrams from the equator and assertions.
Okay, guys. I'm going to end this one now.
Yeah, so we meet other times, Bob.
Because I don't really want it to go down to ad hominem. After
I'm not going to get ad hominem. It's just I don't care about Bob. I don't care what happens to Bob. Bob doesn't matter to me. Bob can go and do what he wants. I was willing to give Bob respect. Bob came in here with a bad attitude. as he always seems to have, this attitude that he is somehow intellectually above people. Bob, you have not proven one time yet that I've listened to you that you're intellectually above anybody. Who do you think you are? He's probably gone, or I don't know.
No, I just don't have anything more to say to you.
Yeah. See, I'll be honest with you, Randy, all this was Bob coming in here to not answer questions, to try and gaslight the whole situation, to be rude, to do his best to use ad hominems, right? To do his best to lean on the supposed body of pseudoscience, right? To not answer what was supposed to be answered, and to be looking for answers to questions that he didn't even ask. You know, and he's not coming up with any proof. He didn't come up with any actual photographs from the equator. One maybe that was maybe photographed from the southern hemisphere. Maybe the rest of them were not. The rest of them were nonsense. He didn't come up with anything that proved Earth rotation, anything that proved gravity. All the things he's asserting. I am the science guy, Bob. Not you. You're not a science guy. You're just a pretender.
Okay.
That's the real deal.
Okay. I'm not going to have this descend any further than it is right now. Okay, well, thanks very much, guys, for both turning up. I appreciate you spending some time. It's quite late here, and I know, Bob, you took the afternoon off to do this. So thank you to